All right, Mike. In all honesty, I'm excited for this one. We are reviewing Compass Box Great King Street, the Glasgow blend.
All right, you said a lot of good things about this one.
Uh-huh. Welcome back to Brolic Whiskey. I'm Metahuman Dave,
And I'm Mike.
and I'm having trouble getting that little foil. There we go. So this, as you can see, is a freshly opened bottle. I purchased this one a while back, but I did not want to open up a new bottle
Okay.
when we had so many donated bottles that were opened already, and we learned about oxidation. So I let this one sit on the shelf for long enough. My excitement's telling me, let's get to it.
Like I said, you said a lot of nice things about this. I want to see what's going on.
Well, this one, the first time that I had it was at Proof when we had that tasting event. And granted, we had a ton of whiskeys at that event, but I recall this one being my second favorite whiskey of everything that we had. Why is that amazing? Because we had whiskeys that were hundreds of dollars up to $1,000 a bottle whiskeys, and my taste buds gravitated towards this one on that day, and this is about a $45 bottle.
Wow,
Yeah.
that might have been the cheapest whiskey at the joint.
And this particular one, I actually got on sale. My buddy from my other whiskey group, Jimmy, he found this on clearance, and with tax and everything, it was like $29.
If it's as good as you say it is, this is not only a steal. I don't even know what you'd call this. This
The
is
best bang for your buck whiskey, possibly, but
this is robbery on a political level.
this is one of those things where this is my first time trying it with a fresh palate, first whiskey of the day type of scenarios. And I say it all the time, I love transparent companies, and you can't get much more transparency than what Compass Box does. While he is enamored with the
This
nose,
is very interesting.
I will start nerding out, and I'll probably nerd out throughout this whole video, so be ready for nerd out excitement as I explain. Compass Box is not a distillery. They don't make any of their own distillate. They are a blending house. They actually purchase whiskeys from every other company, and they'll put together their own little custom blend, and a lot of times they will finish a whiskey in a unique way. This particular one dates back to a tribute to the 19th century when there was blending houses, because back then whiskey wasn't that great. People had to do other things to make it taste better, right? So they kind of went back to the old times and wanted to make something that replicated that. This is the masterpiece of John Glasser, the master distiller over at Compass Box. It has peated influence,
It does.
as well as you can tell by the color, I hope, sherry influence. I'll get to the blend soon.
Having a problem with the sherry coloring. In the bottle, it looks fantastic. In the glass,
It's very light, right?
yeah, it's
But-
like dirty teeth colored.
Okay, that's one way to put it.
Yeah,
Oh man, yes, I definitely get both influences right on the nose immediately.
I get a very light peat smoke to it.
Light peat is
Yeah, and
Perfect.
I get an apple kind of smell to it.
okay.
And I'm gonna admit right now, I'm a little congested. We've had some weather around here lately. I think it's kind of messing with my body, but that's what I'm getting. Now, flavor-wise, I don't really taste the peat smoke,
Mm-hmm.
but I do get the tingle byproduct
Okay.
of the peat smoke.
I don't know what the ppm is on this, and that's one of the things that I wasn't looking up because I
it's light.
don't care. But it's very, very light.
It's light.
But it puts enough excitement into that glass that I'm loving this. This
Yeah. Okay.
let me get back to this one.
All right. I don't want to rain on their parade, but I'm not seeing the excitement here.
God, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Carnation instant bitch?
I'll be honest with you. It's an easy drinker.
You're Mike.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You don't get excited about anything.
I'm the anti-Dave. It's a very light, easy drinker, okay? I got that. But it's very thin on the tongue. it doesn't have much stability. You drink it, it's gone fairly quick.
Wow, you're so wrong.
Really?
Like there's opinions and then there's just wrong information. That's wrong.
Okay.
I haven't taken a sip in a while because I'm still enjoying the flavors changing. Even not only on the back of my tongue, but down my throat, I'm still feeling everything changing. It's mingling. Like I'm getting all the different influences, which again, I'll get to the mix soon. It changes a lot. Let's just chalk it up to possibly he's so congested that his taste buds are completely fucked today. Because this
I'm
thing,
not getting it.
this is an amazing dram to me. This might end up being in my top 3 favorite whiskeys. I'm just going to say
Wow.
that. Because there's just so much going on. And at that price point, it's an amazing tasting whiskey.
I agree.
And I'm not a snob where it's like, you know what, since it's $40, it's garbage. I'm only going to drink that $200 stuff. No, this is, I don't know why there's not a lot more hype behind this particular blend. Everyone goes to other Compass boxes, like the No Name, and This Is Not a Luxury, and Flaming Hard, and all these ones that are $150, $200. Why are you guys ignoring this one? This one has a lot going on without the heavy price tag.
I would say buy it. I do get a little bit of spice after sitting a while, but that's it. I think it's great for the price point. I think it's very easy to drink. It's a little bit low on the alcohol content. It's 43. I think that's what I read.
Yes, it is 43.
Okay, so it's a little bit low, but it's still a nice drink. It's a very nice drink, and for that price, that's a home run all day.
Well, let's have you throw your score out there because you don't seem too happy with it.
No, I'm throwing a solid 6 on this one.
That's a solid number, he says.
That's a solid
That's a
6.
bad score.
You think so?
You can't say solid 6.
Why?
I
would say buy it,
that's
but
a boring 6.
to me, it's a boring whiskey. There's better whiskeys.
This changes on the profile, like where you're getting a little bit of everything. You're getting some sweetness out of this on the front end. Might be from the sherry. Maybe does it have space side? No, not really. It's got you definitely get a little bit of the peat, enough to actually make the flavors really jump out on the tongue. It sits on the tongue for a little while. It's not a big punch of peat like a Lafroig or an Ardbeg or any of that. It's a nice, gentle smoke, but all the other flavors don't get overpowered. Oftentimes with peated whiskeys that are sherry influenced, I don't normally get any of the sherry because the peat's so overpowering. With this one, I feel like they blended it right, where I do get sherry and the peat. I don't know why it's overlooked. I have to say, taste and price point, this is a buy, man. You gotta go try this one. Leave me a comment down below if you've ever had it. I want to know your opinions. 9.2 out of me. I love this one. I'm loving it.
I think so.
We're gonna move on. While I nerd out some more, you guys might be interested in knowing what is this blend made up of, and Compass Box does not hide anything. They let you know what is inside this bottle. Again, not something that they actually distill, they just blend. And you can go on their website and find out the information yourself, but you're here with me right now. So 35% of this is grain whiskey from Cameron Bridge with first fill American oak. 34% of this comes from malt whiskey near Aberlour. That means it's from Aberlour. And it's a sherry butt, which is why there's so much sherry influence. 18% of this is malt whiskey from Lafroig, which is where we get that peat from. Refill American, again, used bourbon barrels. 10% is malt from Clynelish, first fill American oak. And then 3% is the Highland malt blend. Okay, so that's where I was saying before, a little sweeter. So that's from the Highland malt blend. It's had to dig a little deeper for what that 3% blend is, but it's Clynelish, Tenanich, and man, I'm gonna get butchered for these names. Dualine. I don't know. I just know how to read it. I spell it, but Clonelish, Tianinich.
Air,
Today, Junior?
Yeah. Oh, I gave myself a little cheat. Dale Ewing.
Okay.
All right. So that one now has a secondary maturation of a minimum of 2 years in their custom oak hybrid barrels. And they say it's an active hybrid barrel. So what I did is I reached out to them for explanation. Basically what they do is they take used American oak barrels and they replace the heads of the barrels with brand new French oak that was toasted. And their toasting level is supposed to pull out some of the oils and the spices out of the whiskey and make it age a little bit faster and pull in some of those French oak spiciness notes.
It works.
So
It works.
it's damn good. And most of this is a single malt blend. So it's mostly malted whiskey.
Well, I'm really curious to see what you think of it now. So with the water, I get a lot of alcohol on the nose.
Okay.
In the mouth, I really don't get any flavors, unfortunately. I get an extremely sharp, tingling burn on the tongue, which is slightly enjoyable. So, did you mess with my drink again? What do we got going?
He's sick. He's losing his taste buds.
Okay.
There's no smoke with the water.
Mm-hmm.
The nose did kind of went away, but it pulled out some of the more fruity influences that you often get with the Highland stuff. So you're getting some pear, some apple, all that stuff. That's coming out on the taste.
Out of this?
Yep. The smoke went away. It's very, very muted, but it's on a different taste profile, which we find a lot with any peated whiskeys. A lot of times the peat smoke goes away with a couple of drops of water. It's not as good as neat, but it's a different taste profile completely.
I'm not picking it up. I would give it a little bump in the spice factor for me. But right now I'm getting a lot of tingle and burn, which is actually enjoyable, but there's no flavor in it.
That tingle and burn is probably the bacteria that's in his throat from him being sick getting annihilated by alcohol, because there's no tingling on my side. I will say this. It's decent. It's not something I would go for. I'll give it like a 6.8.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll drop it to a 5. It's still drinkable. I actually enjoy that tingling burn for some reason. It's kind of weird, but let's move on. Forward progress.
Poor bastard. He's gonna have to try this one in like 2 weeks from now when he's feeling better, because I can't imagine him saying that this doesn't have any flavors.
Man, you sound like a whiskey fan for a specific company, and you're just all over this.
I've been talking about liking this one since having it at proof. I could say this. I love everything I've ever had from Compass Box. I am not that guy that will pay $200 for any bottle. There's no bottle that will ever impress me that much that I'll pay $200 for. So, more power to you guys if you are willing to pay that much for a whiskey. They make fantastic blends, but they're usually outside of my price range. The King Street, there's 2 different blends. I had the first one. I did tell you earlier I haven't found one that I don't like, but the first King Street edition I find extremely boring. It's just run-of-the-mill, not much going to it, but the Glasgow edition, that's something different. Totally different blend.
Okay. Not much change for me on the nose side. It just doesn't have
Smells
that.
weird.
Yeah, it doesn't have a strong alcohol. First whiff, it almost smelled like plain yogurt to me on the first whiff, but took a couple whiffs after that, it went away, so I'm kind of thinking that was me. Flavor-wise, it's almost dead to me. Like, there's nothing there now. There's a little bit of a pear-like flavor, but
I'm getting apple.
You get an apple?
Yeah.
But then it just dies.
So I was actually saying, like, the smell made me like, oh, this is gonna be horrible. So I already prepared myself, like, I'm gonna hate this one. I don't hate it. It's not my preferred way of drinking it, but I actually get fruit out of it. It's weird. It's not. It is a short finish, like you mentioned.
Yeah. It's to me, it's a dead drink now. Very light. I think it's a waste of a perfectly good whiskey, to be honest with you.
While this is not my preferred way, I can understand people drinking this on the rocks because it is kind of refreshing. I could see this being like your hot summer day, drinking it on the rocks because it brings out a lot of apple and fruit notes. So
Yeah. Okay.
it's decent. For me to even say that it's a 4 on the rocks is usually a win. So it's a 4 from me.
Yeah, I'm on a 4.
Okay. Well, I expected you to say lower with the way that you describe it.
No, it's drinkable. It's just boring. I think
don't
with
find
a
it
couple
boring.
drops of water was a little more exciting just because of that little tingle in it. Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's just your bacteria fighting as you burn it out with alcohol. Well,
I think Glasgow might be this Glasgow blends bring out the fruity notes in you.
hello. So, I gotta say, this is a great buy at $45.
Hell yeah.
I think this is
I would say yes.
super underrated whiskey at the price point. The fact that I was able to score this at $29 just makes this even that much better of a find. I would say give this one a shot. I really want to hear from you guys. If you have had this one, what do you think? But
I
this
really want to hear if they didn't have it, because we disagree so much on this.
Yeah.
I want to see what other people think.
So that's the thing. Like, I had this only one other time prior to today, and that was at a full tasting event with hundreds of whiskeys, and this one stood out to me on that day.
Gotcha.
So to taste it with a fresh palate, and hey, this was just freshly popped. Maybe in a week or two from now, when the air hits it, maybe it even opens up more tasting notes. We'll find out.
I hope.
He'll try it next week or something.
I hope.
And hopefully he likes it better. But all right, this is an East Coast West Coast feud all over again. Either way, I like it a lot.
All right. Well, cheers, everyone.